The following is a presentation of iRacing on PTRTV. We'd like to thank all of our channel partners for their support. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and we hope you enjoy today's broadcast. The last great Coliseum. Fighter jets in a cereal bowl. It's Bristol, baby. The half-mile track with 30 degrees of banking has been a fan favorite for years and a source of drivers' tempers. Closing in on the championship group here in SSRL, we soon find ourselves crowning our champion and getting our final group situated to have that championship battle. Welcome everyone to PTRTV, round number 20 of 24 here on the evening at Bristol Motor Speedway for a 250 lap brawl here tonight. Of course, it's going to be myself, Corey Silva, in the booth and working the production truck, and Andre Grunbush here giving the calls here for a good night of action. So, Andre, we had the race last week at Kansas where we were absolutely baffled with strategies, and here we go to Bristol. I don't think we've been to a short track in quite some time, so it'll be a good old change of pace for us and all the drivers.
Yeah, definitely going to be a new chapter here. It's been a while, like you said, since we went to a short track. So, I mean, some of these guys, they're so new to this league. They've come in recently. They haven't raced a short track yet. So I think we're going to get to see who's a short track ace, who's not. And I think we're definitely going to see some strategy because from what I've seen, this track is eating up them tires, as concrete tends to do. So it should be a fun show all the way around.
Yeah, indeed, should be the case here. So just to go into things a little bit earlier here than usual, so that way we don't have to rush here on the grid. We'll go into our race details here a little bit earlier than usual, but we can go into them a little bit more full-fleshed. Our stage will be at lap 100 this evening rather than at well, of course, because it's a 250 lap race, but Dave was a little bit freed. Goodyear must have been giving them a discount here. 4 sets of tires here. We've had 3 for, I can't even remember how far back it's been, but 3 sets of tires. So we will have 4 here tonight, and of course our incident system, which really hasn't come into play too much here in these races. So now if we think about it, Andre, let's do some math. We got about 2 minutes to do it. I think usually it's about 130, 140 laps on fuel here, so let's make that 70. So what's that? 70, 140, 210. So that's 3 stops. I'm going to say, let's say there's 4 stops because I count wrong. 4 stops, 4 tires. Maybe the tires won't be that big of a deal here tonight.
No, but you also got to remember that this is Bristol. Cautions may come a little bit more frequently than a non-short track, so they're going to have a lot of options as to when to take those tires. So I still wouldn't be surprised if we got to the end of this thing and somebody was coming up short on tire sets, or somebody has to do a little bit of saving to have them at the end. We'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, you know, I think you're right. Maybe Goodyear gave Dave a little bit of a discount as we look under the racetrack and see the parking lot where hopefully nobody winds up tonight.
Yeah, Bristol, one of the classic Bristol cameras is the the chopper cam or the blimp cam, if have you, going down on the racetrack. But we can't have that here because iRacing didn't model a landscape here at Bristol. So literally, this track is just in a virtual abyss, as we were just shown there. But guys on track here for the first time here, at least on the broadcast anyways, concluding out their warm-up session, and then we'll get right into the grid. Very quickly, point standings. Our second half point standings goes to Ed Scherer by roughly 100 now over Philip Henry and Chad Gunningsman. And then our overall point standings here, Justin Levine is up over Timothy Latham and then Ty Ippolito. So I do have to get a little clarification on who qualifies for the championship group, whether the second half group get standings that's in there. So we'll get that all situated and kind of give you our lock-in on the bubble pictures and such for next week, rather 2 weeks from now as it stands with the scheduling. But let's get ourselves ready here. So these guys will have about, what, 6 more seconds, and then we'll get ourselves down and ready for the starting grid.
And there goes the timer. So the warm-up session, which, I got less confused about this week than last week. I know last week it threw me for a loop again because I got the memory of a goldfish, but it does come to a close, and we will be headed to starting grid to see where everybody's going to get started. So you find out where your favorite driver is going to be rolling off, watching at home. Row 1, position 1, Justin Levine in the number 1 car. That's a whole lot of number 1s, but he's also won a lot of races, so there's another one for the stat. Philip Henry to his outside in second place. Row 2, inside, going to be Timothy Latham right next to Johan Seminario in that 56 machine. And behind them in 5th, Dakota Jorgensen and Edward Scherer is going to be 6th. 7 and 8, Chad Kibbe the Shoe. Kendall Levron is going to be P8 in that 28 machine. Rounding out the top 10, Kevin Zosiak with a great qualifying performance. And Blair Haldeman, he was a powerhouse for a while last week. A little bit of issues kind of put him out of it, but some more speed this week.
Yes, indeed. He had a good run last week at Kansas. Scott Wise in 11th. And then Tanner Marty, league veteran, there in 12th. Ty Ippolito in 13th with Josh Campbell in 14th. 15 fines, league admin, Dave Fuge Jr. from Racing Country right there in Concord, North Carolina, with Mike Burnett in 16th. A little bit smaller of a grid here on the evening. We have Heath Snyder in 17th, Chad Gunningsman in 18th, and then our final row, row number 10, Corey Saucier, a Massachusetts native here, just says myself is, and then Brandon Browning in the 48 will roll off shotgun on the field.
Car is getting going here on this concrete surface, following the pace car. Should just be a couple quick pace laps around, and away we will go. Actually, lights are not shining, so it should be just one quick pace lap.
As soon as you think you know what you're talking about, the iRacing gods just throw you a wrench. I've never seen a short track with one pace lap.
No.
And I still have.
Good thing we got an early start, though.
Yeah. Well, we still haven't seen so the lights went out a lap early, so maybe that always happens. And, I've only been covering iRacing for 10, 15 years now. You'd think I'd know, but either way, very quickly, let's go into our weather conditions here for the sake of information. 83 in the air, 85 track with a cloudy night sky. Of course, we can't see that because there's no light in the sky because we don't have any moonlight. Anyways, iRacing will get that on that soon enough. But that aside, again, a whole bunch of ones on the front. P1 is number 1. Justin Levine, another fast driver in the form of Philip Henry to his outside. Very difficult start here at Bristol for that outside row. Let's see how he does do when he gets into that Geico restart zone. Barney has the flag in hand. He'll wave it very quickly, and here we go racing in Thunder Alley.
And it's going to be 20 competitors, 2 by 2, all the way through, heading through 1 and 2. And it looks like on the outside, that 25 machine is going to take the lead from Justin Levine. And he did it, and he made it look easy. He's got 2 car lengths now as the 5 car slips up into third, takes it from Johan Seminario. We've pretty much single filed out front. A little bit further back, there is some 2 wide battling it for, I believe, 6th position. There goes the number 10. Remember, he was a rocket ship for a little while last week. Had some internet issues that took him out of it, and keep doing that. That might take you out of it. But man, oh man, he was making passes early on. Started 10th, already up to 7th, and he's going to smack the wall again. There is such a thing as too fast, Corey.
Yeah, such a thing as don't wreck the car on lap 2. That memo was clearly not given there, so he will hopefully be okay. The damage model is typically a little bit forgiving there. And then the shoe, oh, never mind, caution.
Oh,
Ippolito, bottom of the track, had some issues. We'll sort that out here in a jiff. Oh, black screen, replay scene has to load here on the background, so anytime now. There we go. Paid the bill. He's running up on the top of the racetrack. Fuge to his inside. Fuge clears. The 8 of Josh Campbell seemed to have had a little issue first, so now we have to dissect that. Oh yeah, there was an issue here.
It's the number 8 following the 55. He's up on the high lane.
It's Tanner Marty.
And gonna give a bump to Tanner, which is then gonna get him turned around, and everybody behind him just scrambling.
Yeah, Ippolito.
97.
Ippolito just kind of spun out in a reactionary sense there, but looks like Marty may have just entered the corner there a little bit easier than Campbell was forecasting. We do have some takers on pit road, interestingly enough here. I don't think Latham got the memo that we are on the single pit configuration here, because he is running the long way around, or maybe we're not on this. No, yeah, there's no blue line there, so Latham pulled off of Jeff Gordon, and
yeah, a few drivers coming in behind him. Now this may be,
or maybe it's a unofficial league rule that they didn't tell us about. Maybe I'll have to read the announcements thread. But
well, no, because those drivers that came in behind him, I'm pretty sure they ducked down right in front of this pit road. But either way, I did see the jack stand go up on the number 5. He just took right sides and left side.
That is called a whoopsie-daisy. I'm almost certain.
That's an I forgot to untick the box pit stop.
Now this entire race, he is going to be batting from behind, because of course here on iRacing you do not have the ability to put on tires that you took off. Once they're gone, they just get sent back to, right on the truck. You don't get them back. They don't give you the keys. So set of 6-lap scuffs is going to go for waste there. Now he's going to have to battle from behind, so that's not going to be good news if you are a Latham fan. But Henry, he is going to be the leader now after getting the lead from Levy there, and I'm almost certain they do have lane choice here. And interestingly enough, he is going to take the bottom here after he saw how the bottom worked for him last time.
Yeah, that's interesting because, I mean, he got the lead on the top, although I will say a restart is different than the initial start because the leader does have an advantage in that he gets to choose when the race resumes in that Geico restart zone. So theoretically, he should get clear before they even get to the corner. On the loud pedal goes to 25 and just barely going to get clear. Maybe not as big of a jump as I was expecting, but 1 and 2 can remain the same as it was prior to the caution. Meanwhile, Johan moves up to 3rd with the 5 car coming down pit road during that caution, so he's got to hold off that number 14. And there it is, the shoe, Chad Kibbe. He closed in a bunch on that number 14 just in 3 and 4 alone. Coming through the corner, running a higher lane. Look at that run. He gets out of the corner. And this is the dichotomy of Bristol. You can take the bottom and you can roll
look
the car.
At him go, my Lanta.
Or you can take the top and you can do that. A little bit of a crossover move. That was well done by Kibbe.
Yeah, just of course for those maybe family friends who aren't iRacing knowledgeable as much, we don't have the PJ1, the sticky stuff on the inside lane that they do have in real life. But I'll tell you, just from personal experience and watching a lot of races, there's not really a given line here at Bristol. I mean, it's not top heavy, it's not bottom heavy. It really is balanced quite well, if I do have to say, and at least right now it seems that outside's working pretty well for Kibbe, but you definitely do have some options here, at least on the iRacing side.
Yeah, it seems like both lanes are somewhat balanced. I mean, the 25, he got to the inside of the 14 using that crossover maneuver, and then he had to give it back up, and now he's taking it back once again. But top lane, bottom lane, they seem fairly equal, but I don't know. Chad Kibbe making up a ton of time now. He's making that high groove work in a way that he was not a few laps ago. He's going to get clear of the 56 in 1 corner alone, and I suspect that when they get out of this set of turns, he's going to be right on the bumper of that number 1. Oh, a little bit of a swipe to the wall is going to maybe crush those dreams for another lap, but either way, this shoe is taking some steps towards the front.
I mean, in real life, MJ was actually at the real Bristol race course sporting 2311 and Bubba as he managed to get himself into the next round of the playoffs there. So maybe some of that MJ Bristol luck has found itself into the 12 camp, but kind of at a point that we talked about last week, Andre, where if you start the race a little bit too aggressively with that high lane, you may be burning that set of tires a little bit quicker and on the back end of the run, which probably could be 40, 50, 60 laps. We don't know exactly. He may struggle later on by pushing this hard this early.
Yeah, it is something that we've seen, especially last week at Kansas. It seemed like all the drivers who fired off right away seemed to fade through the field later once those tires started to wear out. But at Bristol, I feel like it's a lot harder to save your tire than it is a track like Kansas, because it is such a... Oh, Dave Fuge into the outside wall a little bit. He gathers it up. But as I was saying, it is such a demanding track. Whether you're running high or low, you're still cranking on that steering wheel, heating those tires up, and you got to be really careful if you are going to conserve. So time will tell whether or not the short run or the long run is more valuable. But speaking of the short run, the number 5, Timothy Latham, as we go on board. Remember, he took tires. He's on 6-lap fresher tires than anybody else. I can't say that's a huge advantage, but it has got him back up into 6th as he passes Dave Fuge, and now he is eyeing up 5th a little bit further up the road. Have to see where that goes, and it is unfortunate that he burned a set of tires. I would have to assume not intentionally, but if you're going to do that, do it in the first race in a while that we actually have 4 sets instead of 3. Maybe a little bit of a saving grace there. But this battle for 3rd, Chad Kibbe, Scott Wise, these two have been side by side. The 23 gets a good run on the corner exit, but the 31's doing a really good job rolling the center. He's not taking the low line, more like mid to low, but he's letting that car rotate and closing that gap in the corners, and then letting that 23 pull out a little bit in the straightaways. But right there, the 31 actually got a little bit tight, and that is going to be all she wrote. The 23 gets clear of the 31. All this battling going on is allowing Justin Levine to pull away a little bit. Let's see if the 23 can hunt him down now that he's got that 3rd position on lock. But up front, Philip Henry, we haven't even been talking about him because, well, look at the screen. He's a straightaway away. 2 seconds is the difference, and at Bristol, that is just about an entire straightaway.
Yeah,
he's going
literally
into the corner when they're coming out, so it is a huge gap that he's accrued in just 27 laps.
I do want to go on board here because I did hear some different pitches that I'm a little bit curious about. So you can see the gyro cam, first of all, the banking here at Bristol, and you can see Henry fully running in 5th gear all the way around this place. Now, is that a positive or a detriment? I mean, you can assume that it is a positive.
Hold up. Was he clutching right there? He just went down to 2,000 RPM in turns 1 and 2. Now coming out of 3 and 4, he was at 6,000. Let's see if he does it again in 1 and 2. No, he's staying at 6,000. So for one corner, he went down to 2,000 revs. I don't know if he was just testing the waters in case he has to save later or what the situation is. But a little bit further back, 2nd place, 4th gear. So a little bit higher revs, but I would assume better rotation through the corners and certainly better acceleration out of the corners. So have to see how that plays in the difference. But yeah, we got some difference in setup.
Yep, different setups here. Of course, open setups and a lot of different teams here. So guys will get their practice in. And of course, with this race being kind of at the end of the race week, drivers have run, in the case of Bristol, probably thousands of laps here over the week. Some of them have, their teams have. So they've been able to fine-tune their setups, but they do have to special tweak them for SSRL, of course, with the fuel limit, with all that weight being removed from the back of the car. It does change the handling. So that setup that you may have fine-tuned for, an NIS, which was full distance here this week, amongst other leagues, you come here and you do have to make a couple minor tweaks, but at least you have the foundation probably nice and comfortable where you want it.
And it really is a product of this next-gen car. I feel like any short track or any mile-long track even, any track where there's significant off-throttle time, it seems like there's always a few drivers that just keep it in 5th, and there's a few drivers that are shifting, and few drivers are just leaving it in fourth. It's just whatever gear ratios they go with, wherever they prefer the handling to be. And, you used to only see that at road courses. I remember at Watkins Glen, I would always sit in turn one, and you could always tell who was shifting in the S's and who wasn't, because you could hear it. Some drivers were just staying in second until they got to the top. Some were shifting right in the middle of the S's. But now, that's something that's been brought to the ovals, thanks to the 5-speed sequential that we now have instead of the 4-speed H pattern we used to have. But it's an interesting little dynamic that I feel like some of these drivers, even though it's been a thing for 2 years now, they're still probably getting used to it. The muscle memory is hard to kill.
And they're getting used to it, and as far as I know, they're trying to devise a way to ruin it and take it away, but I just don't know how you can do that without just making a ban, because I think the infrastructure of the car is already built. So
yeah,
it'd be interesting to see how they do that, besides just saying, putting a software thing in that says 5th gear is disabled. But of course we'll see what NASCAR chooses to do. But I do want to point out the gap here at the front went from 1.82 seconds, somewhere in that ballpark, to basically nothing. So maybe Henry was one of those people to shoot out of a cannon, and now he is getting retracted here with Levine here on the long run.
Yeah, remember, he was using that high line quite a bit to pull away, then he shifted down to the bottom. So he's taking it easy on his tires now, but he was cooking them a little bit earlier in this run, whereas Levine has been pretty dedicated to the low line this entire race. I've not seen him move to the top once, so you'd think his tires are going to be a little bit better than those around him, and he has closed in just noticeably. I mean, it was a straightaway difference, and now just 2 car lengths separates them, 0.2 of a second. Getting to him is going to be one thing, passing him is going to be another. Bristol is kind of known for being difficult to pass. It's kind of where the bump and run came from. It's such a one-line track. But here on iRacing, more so than real life, maybe, because again, we don't have that PJ1. So sometimes if you want to get around somebody, if they're taking your line away, well, maybe you put the bumper to them. Question is, how early are you going to do that? Right now, I think Levine's probably going to show more patience than that. He's going to do it the right way, but it's going to take a bit of a slip up, I think, from Henry.
Yeah, perhaps the case, or maybe Levine, because he hasn't ran the top, he'll just, he's saved the tires enough to where using a lap or 2 on the top of the track, it shouldn't detriment him too much, especially where Henry is starting to drop off. So, just running a full lap at the top, tapping the safer barrier, pancaking the right side. That's for Aero, right? And there you go, Justin Levine, P1, lead change on track.
And luckily for Levine, iRacing does not have the track entrance gate coded in, so he's not going to be pulling a Mike Waltrip or a Mike Harmon.
Interestingly enough, Stapleton 42 actually just visited Mike Harmon and saw the remainder of that car. It is still pretty well preserved, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. I feel like if you walked away from that, you'd be keeping that car. it's just something to look back on. Just crazy how identical those 2 wrecks were, too. I mean, Waltrip and Harmon just disintegrating the cars, or I guess as DW would say, disintegrated the cars.
And I guess the little backstory while we have a second here, looks like Johan maybe trying to pass the shoe here for 4th. I guess a track worker actually came up to Mike Harmon after his 2002 wreck and said that there was a kind of a redundancy safety thing he was supposed to do to make sure that that didn't happen. And because it was practice and they just weren't paying as much attention back in the day, he forgot to do whatever that redundancy was. And because of that, he said he went and once he realized the guy was okay, he's like, oh my God, I'm sorry. It was my fault. And ultimately he was fine with it in the end, but it's a little useless pieces of information.
Yeah, I mean, I could see feeling a little bit bad about that, but looks like Johan is finally going to pass Kibby. Took him a while. Kibby put up a good fight. But again, I think all that speed he had on the short run there is coming back to bite him. Here comes a taker down pit road. It's splitting the stage in half when, I guess that makes sense, splitting the stage in half. They can only go about 70 on fuel, stage at 100. So Fuge kicking off the green flag sequence.
So I was actually, did he only take 2 as a matter of fact?
Yes, he did. That was right sides only.
So I was just thinking, I know things that don't happen very often. So if Latham, who is now 4 seconds back, so he's clearly not the fastest he would like to be right now, but if he just does a fuel only here and he's able to stay on the lead lap, which given his pace drop off here is not as likely as it could be, because it should normally be. But if he can just do fuel only and stay on the lead lap till the end of the stage, basically everybody else, I would imagine, is probably gonna take tires there at the 100 stage. So that could kind of absolve him of that mistake he did on that first caution. But with his pace right now, I don't know if he can muster that.
Yeah, the issue is staying on the lead lap at a track like Bristol. If it was Kansas, that's one thing. We're running 30-second lap times, but here, 16 seconds. It goes by quick. The leader catches you before you know it. So it'll be tough. I don't know if he's going to go for it. Time will tell. But I also want to point out that Blair Holloman, who was flying for about 3 laps, he's a lap down. You see Johan making a pass right there. And I don't think the outside wall abuse has lessened from that number 10. I don't know what the wall did to Blair, but it must have done something to deserve this, because he has been knocking it down a time or two.
Yeah, and you look at it from this this camera here, and you'd expect there to be some kind of, issues in that corner of the car, but it looks fine, which is it literally, you wouldn't know a thing. So kudos to iRacing, and or kudos to his team for building a literal tank.
Yeah, I don't see any visual damage, but I think there's something going on underneath that bodywork. Something bent, something's not right, because his pace is just nowhere near what it was at the start of this race, and he's finally got it down into a rhythm now where he's not getting into that outside wall as much, but the pace has just left him. Here's the number 90 machine. He's side by side with, it would appear, Mike Burnett. These guys are both following Tanner Marty in that 55, who again was part of that first caution, but he's made a good recovery after getting a little bit of help spinning around there. Didn't really get any damage from that wreck, and he's just continued on. The number 90, Corey Saucier, takes that position. There's the 31. We've seen him in a few battles tonight. Well, now he's going to be duking it out with the number 28 machine, trying to get down low in contact.
Save him. Can he save him?
Oh,
he saved him, but Barney.
Oh, no.
Barney was a little too happy there on the trigger.
I think somebody might have got into the pit road barrels as well.
Oh, I mean, I was watching. You have better eyes than I do, sir. So, let's see.
So they just went down pit road, but let's take a look. The 28.
That's Dakota. Oh yeah, that was wise.
Yep.
That wasn't very wise of him.
The way he bounced off looked violent, but I'm not seeing significant damage. Let's go.
Let's try to find the onboard of Wise.
Yeah, that looks bad, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, so he got in. We'll just keep the onboard here, I guess, with him. Just spatial, fighting for the same spot. See, he saved them there, and then dead in the side. But see, that happened off track, which is why I'm kind of surprised we got the caution, because on track, it didn't seem like there was anybody that ended up being overly sideways. But that caution will be terrible news for Dave Fuge, because he was, I think, the only one that I can see here. Let me switch the ticker over. Well, it's a little bit different now because a couple guys have pit. Of course, Justin Levine, our former leader, did pit, but a bunch of guys stayed out. Huh. I wasn't mentally prepared for... I was mentally prepared for a broadcast today, but I wasn't mentally prepared for a brain dissection that ends up being these races, trying to figure out what's going on with the strategy. Or did they pit on the wrong straightaways? All right, so now most everybody's pitting, and now it just leaves Zodiac and Henry out. Levine there in third. Now... let's see, Marty, pit road, you have Marty, you have Ippolito, Campbell, Snyder, Levron, the shoe. It's also hard at Bristol, and this is a mistake people make in real life. They forget where they are on the track, because there's not, I mean, there's enough distinguishing factors, but when you're zooming around, 4 times a minute, event and you see essentially the same thing. It's very easy to screw that up.
And as the 25 stays out yet another lap, this is befuddling.
So
I'm a little confused.
Is he... All right, so fuel alone, there's no way, because there's no way he can make it to 100. There's absolutely no way.
No, I'm really thinking not.
Well, we'll find out together, as I always like to say. Worth noting, Latham did take a second set of tires there, so now Latham only has 2 sets of tires to last him 100 and a lot of laps. Caution has been extended here for reasons that I am not aware of. Let's, oh yeah, that's why, because everybody is just kind of all over the place now.
Wrong area.
So I wonder, there must have been some kind of confusion on pit open, pit close. You know, when did the pits actually open? Tanner Marty coming back in the pits. So I think everyone's just trying to get where they're supposed to be here. Let's see if we do remain on 1 to go this time by. But either way, we are still absolutely perplexed at the call by our former leader. I'll say it because it's not going to last very long. And Zodiac. Are they going to make it to 100? Are they going to just absolutely perplex all of us? I guess we'll find out together. Green flag in the air. Zodiac, he's already pulled the anchor out here into turn 1.
All I'm saying is if Philip Henry makes it to the end of this stage, somebody needs to take that car to R&D. There is fuel coil somewhere in there, and we need to see where he's got that fuel line coiled up. But the number 1 taking the lead, he's got the fresher tires. That was never a question. Here comes the number 5. This is just confusion squared for me, because we've got the 25 staying out, and then we've got the 5 car who's used 2 out of 4 sets of his tires well before the halfway mark. This has been an interesting race strategy-wise, but it looks like we may have a battle for the lead as the number 5 has gotten to the bumper of Levine. He's going to move to the high line, maybe try a bit of a crossover move if he can get enough momentum. This time he's going to take the lower lane, follow him around the track. Here comes Chad Kibbe. We know the short run speed in that number 23 machine, technically being scored as the number 12, but again, a mishmash between the registered number and the paint scheme number. But Chad Kibbe has a lot of short run speed. He's made some passes up to 4th place. Got Heath Snyder in front of him in the 29. Meanwhile, the former leader, who is on old tires and practically no fuel, he's back there just fighting. Oh, Chad Kibbe. Hold on to her body. No. No.
That shoe is not going to have any resale value now, and Wise getting more issues. Oh, and there's Henry. He will probably wish that he got 4 fresh tires and stayed in front of the pack here, and we will rack and stack him again. Let's check this out on the good old replay here. Now, Kibbe is by himself, so... Oh, loose. Oh! 39. That was Mike Burnett. We will certainly need to get on board with him, because that view was less than stellar.
Dave Fuge also implicated in this. He got a little bit of it to the rear bumper. And let's see.
All right, I think I'm about a corner early, so it should be coming up right here off of 4.
Yep, right on the straightaway. And what happens here is his suspension just unloads, gets the car kind of snaking back and forth, and just, you know,
there's Dave and there's Scott Wise, who just kind of crawled in there last second. Henry, oh, look at Tanner Marty on the bottom, just having to use every last bit of real estate there to evade life and death.
Let me ask you this, though. If Chad Kibbe was getting bounced around like a ping pong ball, does that make him the tennis shoe?
Not bad.
I'll be here all night, ladies and gentlemen.
So we will we'll go to our first break after the stage, so we will we'll promise that continuity for you guys here with only about 20 laps to go. Now, of course, Zodiac and Henry have, of course, pitted due to their situations here. Henry, even though he was in that wreck, only pitted for 24 seconds, so I'm assuming he still has some damage to fix, but in the nature of Bristol, you just don't have a lot of time to make those repairs.
Also, I saw the jack stand go up on Tanner Marty's car. I don't know if he took tires the first time he pitted. But that could be another set, potentially. I saw the right sides go up. I don't know about the left.
I did not catch that myself. He did have about a... So it looks as though you can have about a 30-second pit stop here at Bristol and remain on the lead lap, because Marty is the last one on the lead lap, trying to catch up once more here. So basically, if you get big damage here, you're getting it fixed in very, very small chunks at a time. You could probably get 30 seconds the first lap, maybe 20, 25 the second lap, and then eventually, you know, that's all she wrote. So that was a big chunk of the field. Oh, Mike Burnett, as you may have expected, did take it behind the wall with that rather catastrophic impact there. Dave Fuge in the pits for 1 minute plus. Scott Wise, 2 laps down, he had a 1 minute and 20-second pit stop. So things of note here as we're headed to 20 to go in the stage, and it'll be Levine on the bottom with Latham, who is our I think we might just have to talk to him on the stage and figure out what his tire mindset is, because he is the tire guy on the outside lane.
Yeah, definitely not afraid to use up his tires. See how it helps him or doesn't help him later on in the race. But lights are off on the pace car. Everybody seems to have gotten gathered up a little bit more effortlessly than the first time around. We're getting used to it. We you know, figuring it out as we go. And the number one with a phenomenal start. That outside lane lagged behind a little bit, so that left Latham. I think honestly he did that intentionally. I think Latham fell just far back enough that he could slot into second on that bottom lane. He did exactly what he wanted to do. Heath Snyder in third. Joshua Campbell, that number 8, he was in the first caution, and here he is up inside the top 5. So this goes to show you what a topsy-turvy race this can be here at Bristol. And there's a name that we haven't really talked about tonight, but he's got some wins under his belt. The number 14, Ed Scherer, he's trying to crack into the top 5. He has cracked into the top 5, in fact. So slowly clawing his way up the pylon and doing a pretty good job of it thus far. He's got Johan Seminario right behind him. And that number 8, you see the rear bumper caved in a little bit there. He's no stranger to getting the bump already, just 80 laps into this race. So we'll see how much defense he plays against the number 14. He may just go to the top and let him have it. Doesn't want to have any issues, but I don't know. I think the 14 may have to work for it, because that 8's not off pace. He's actually running really good lap times here. Johan making it difficult for the 14 as well. That might save the number 8 of Campbell, because when these guys get side by side, that's going to slow their lap times down. And Johan with a great 3 and 4 complex is going to get up to the outside, get the nose advantage, and by the time they get back onto the straightaway here, he has taken that position back into 4th.
Yeah, Nate, a very good way to pass here at Bristol is to take advantage of a driver who is trying to make a pass and was not successful in the endeavor, because you have that situation there where I think it was Scherer trying to make the pass to the inside, and then Johan just saw the outside open. He's like, all right, I'm just going to fill the gap in. And with Scherer getting bogged down on the bottom, that just opened the door for Johan on the outside. So a lot of times you try to make a pass here at Bristol, and if you're not able to succeed in it, it'll actually cost you a spot there, as we just witnessed there. So Johan will get gathered up there, see if he can close in on Campbell, who's doing a good recovery, as you talked about after that first incident. Scherer will see what he can do there. I think he's going to be a late charger, but unfortunately only 10 more laps, so I don't think that late charge is going to come into fruition here, at least at this point in the race. But fighting for a stage win is where we stand right now. Levine to the bottom, Latham to the top, and you know, we know at the top it's burning tires. And Tim, radio check here, you don't have a lot to race with for the remainder. Maybe they gave him an extra set, and you know, we're just kind of, you know, you never know here. This is tire hacks, perhaps.
In terms of tires, he has no tires, but he's going to get the crossover down to the low line and not be able to carry that momentum, so he's got to fall back in line in second place. 7 laps to go in the stage. They're going to work their way around the lapped car of the 97. And Chad Gunningsman Number 1 car keeps the lead for yet another lap. The 5 car closing in. He can get right up to him, but it seems like he makes that move to try to get around him, and the parachute comes out. The car loses that momentum, and he's got to try it all over again. Problem is, time not on his side now. 5.5 laps to go in this stage. Coming up on the 31. He's been involved in just about every caution tonight. He's had a rough night here at Bristol. He's going to let these leaders go, not put up too much of a fight. Still 1 and 2, and these guys have broken away from the rest of the field. You see it's 1.7 seconds back to 3rd place. Johan Seminario, who did pass Joshua Campbell, getting up on the podium for this stage, although he's not pulled away yet. They're maintaining that gap pretty securely. Now the 14 of Ed Scherer trying to get around the 8 as well. These guys all trying to get as many stage points as they possibly can late into the season in the final group of races, trying to make every position count. Now they're coming up on some lap traffic there. The number 31, Chad Kibbe, also ahead in the shoe. Boy, that 14 getting a big run out of the corner. Let's see if he can take it anywhere.
Oh, into the wall, goes wide. He's trying to get out of the way there, and that forces everybody that snake down low. Scherer took a look to the inside. Oh, here comes Zosiak in Snyder. Snyder trying to work that bottom of the track to no avail here. Philip Henry, that damage not hindering him, at least at the moment here, as we do come to the white flag for the stage. Latham has closed in. He's going to try to use the high lane, but I'll tell you, Levine has the bottom. He is kind of pulling the Harvick card, but the good Harvick card, not the Bristol card that we saw this past weekend. Stage win will go to Justin Levine, and we have the instant caution here. Not waiting for the 10th place car here today. 10th place points will go to Ty Ippolito, who involved in a wreck here, but most of the back half of the field is here, so do have to be very good with your attrition here, and we'll come right into the pits. And I swear, Andre, if Latham takes tires, I give up at calling the rest of this race. Yeah,
I mean, if I'm behind the wheel, I'm not taking tires, but I'm not behind the wheel. Probably a reason for that. So let's see.
What?
Oh my goodness.
We're talking to him. I was gonna go to a break. We're talking to him.
Was it just right? Nope, left sides too. Okay, we're using the whole set. Yep.
Is there a glitch where there's like infinite tires here this weekend? Like,
I don't think so.
I mean, all right, we gotta find him. Yo, Tim, you got us?
Sure do.
So we counted 4 sets of tires for the race, and unless we counted wrong, you're already at 3. Is that correct?
Unfortunately, I did make a mistake in the first stage there, and where we had to pit on the backstretch, it reset the tires. So I am down 1 tire set, but I got enough to make it to the end.
All right, so you're not. So we thought we caught you at 3 tire change sets, so we have counted wrong. You're saying you still have a couple more to play with?
Yeah, I got a couple more.
Okay, so I was gonna say we were utterly confused at everything there, but either way, how you feeling? The first time we've been to a short track in quite some time. How you feeling here tonight?
It feels good. I'm always pretty towards the front at concrete tracks. I really like running these places with the tire wear and everything. So I was even pulling off. I don't think Levine took a set of tires there at the end of the stage, so Johan might not have taken one either. So we'll see how that pans out. If we stay green the whole way, or if we get cautions, we'll see. We'll see your strategy comes out.
All right. Well, we're glad to hear that you're in better shape than we thought, because we were royally perplexed. So glad that worked out a little better than we thought, and we'll let you get back at it, man. Good luck.
All right. Appreciate it.
I don't get how we're wrong.
Because we've seen the jack stand go up 3 times. The only thing I can think of is he pit on the wrong side of the track and the tires did not apply. But if you're on the wrong side of the track, the jack stand never goes up. So I'm confused. I'm very confused.
Or he is royally screwed, but he's putting on a poker face for us.
That was my assumption. I wasn't going to call him on it because maybe the other drivers are listening to the broadcast and he doesn't want to give away his strategy or his weaknesses. But yeah, I was thinking the same thing you were. I just wasn't going to say it.
Yeah. So we will see. We've seen it, but we're old, we're tired, it's late, low pixel counts. I'm not sure for you, Andre. I think I have enough pixels for you to see pretty clearly. But either way, let's see what happens. We got Zodiac, who will be our leader. Levine to the outside. Zodiac on 26 lap old Goodyears. He will lead us down for stage 2. We will try not to curse him here, but he's in the lead, so let's see what he can do with it.
So Zodiac going to get a half a car advantage through the corner, but it's gone by the time they get out of that corner. Justin Levine to the lead almost immediately, and he's going to bring the number 5 with him on the high line. So the same 1-2 order that we've seen all race long back in action. Behind him, the number 8 going to go side by side with 37. Johan Seminario thought about making it 3 wide, thought better of it. The 8 car making a good move here. That should get him up to 3rd for the time being. He does get clear, and for the lead, look at this. On the outside, Timothy Latham is going to take it from Levine, so he's going to get some laps led under his belt. We'll take a look at the PTRTV replay, and we caught just the tail end of it. It was in the corner of frame. That's how I called it. But here's a better look at it, and he is going to get the move on the outside, and just 2 sets of corners, and he's done.
Yeah, he, as we said, it's the age-old debate of how aggressively do you take that outside lane. But if you do what he did, you just kind of use it sparingly, kind of use it as your, I like to say, your Mario Kart pad there, your turbo pad. Just use it when you need it, but don't live on it. That way you have the tires in check, and then when you need to go fast, you know, you have the ability to go fast. I think that's what Latham did there, working quite favorably. And then you have Ed Scherer here, who is starting to show his speed here on the back end of the race, and or the damaged cars are just kind of letting him show his stuff there. But I'll tell you, speaking of damaged cars, that 8 of Josh Campbell, beat up in the front, beat up in the back, but still showing top 5 speed, at least at this juncture. So an impressive run for him.
Yeah, I was going to say, Ed Scherer and Josh Campbell both have been getting faster all night long, but that 8 car, he's doing a really good job. He's actually pulled away from Johan Seminario. He's kind of made himself part of this 3-car pack behind our leaders.
One of the old men, too.
Yeah, 43 years old. I mean, there's no age limit for sim racing, but yeah, definitely.
Tell that to Ray Alfala. He's the old guy. Can't even make the playoffs anymore.
Well, true.
There's a side-by-side battle here. Philip Henry, who, you know, led the opening portion of the race by quite a bit, had a very questionable strategy call, ultimately got in a wreck, has some damage, but has repaired a fair amount of it here. He's trying to work through this little hornet's nest here. He has Zodiac on those old tires blocking that high lane, kind of has him boxed in with Johan to the inside, and Heath Snyder and Gunningsman just behind. So I think right now Henry is just trying to find a way by Zodiac, and contact there with Seminario and Snyder into 3, but all is well. Everyone recovers.
Yeah, that was just 2 cars racing really hard for position, and I don't think either of them meant to make contact there. But it'll happen in a hurry at Bristol. Everybody is so close together, very little room for error. Luckily, both those drivers were able to get it gathered up, and it didn't turn into something that it didn't need to be. There's a 97 machine trying to get around the 29. Now that is not for position. The 97 is still
he's a lucky dog candidate right now, if he doesn't keep hitting the wall as he just did. Dakota Jorgensen, the lone man from Idaho, he is a few cars back. He would be the one that Gunningsman needs to stay ahead of, at least until the leaders get to traffic, but that should be a ways off here.
Yeah, it'll be a few laps before they get to traffic, although not as long as you think. Again, 16-second lap times on worn tires, so they will be reaching it sooner rather than later. But the gap to the leader, or at least the gap to the next position for Ed Scherer, he's got about half a second up to Levine and about 1.3 to Latham. So bit of separation between the top 3, but Campbell's not letting him get away. And that 25 of Philip Henry behind him, sticking right with this 3-car pack. So very close in pace for the time being. But it'll be the long run that'll really tell. And look at those lap times. So close. I mean, right down the board.
For Henry and Campbell, that last time, well, Campbell didn't run his best lap last time by, but they were both faster than the leaders, Campbell and Henry there, so showing some speed. As Philip Henry is going to go a high-low elevator move. He got the run up high, and now he's going to go low through 1 and 2 on Campbell there. Now let's see if he can do a little send it and clear. The answer is yes. He's going to stay on the bottom rather than going up. It will work favorably as Levine got a little bit loose there. I thought maybe Campbell would have tried for a crossover, but maybe using that age and experience there and deciding that let me just get myself back into a rhythm rather than burning the tires up now.
Yeah, sometimes you got to pick your battles, and maybe for him it just wasn't worth it. He's got good speed, he's with the leaders, so no need to put anything in jeopardy by getting too aggressive. But speaking of jeopardy, number 14 getting into the outside wall, but he still made the move on Levine, and he is bringing that 25 with him right there in tow. So that is down 2 positions for the Stage 1 winner, now in 4th place. Let's see if Ed and Philip can run down Timothy Latham, who walked out to about a 1.4 second lead at one point, now down to 1.1. So they are continually clicking off laps a little bit quicker. Now here comes Campbell trying to put Levine down another position. Not quite able to do it that corner. He loses some momentum. He's going to have to regroup. The 90 machine, Corey Saucier, he's down there. Oh, he clips the apron. I saw that happen. I wondered if he was going to get loose, and he did. Fortunately, he's able to gather it up down on the apron, nobody getting involved, so we stay green, at least for the time being. Hopefully Barney doesn't do anything crazy. I've seen it at Bristol where sometimes just somebody being close to the track calls it out, but luckily it is still green. Johan Seminario, man, I don't think this guy has single file in his dictionary. He's been battling with somebody or another all night long, and he's going to stay double file with a 37.
And for the most part, other than a few instances here and there, he's been on the bottom of the track, so making passes the hard way down there. As we are past halfway and 130 laps here. I do have my estimator here, Andre. 130 laps. Normally you'd think, oh Lord, that's a long race. This is less than a half hour of racing here at Bristol, with the lap times literally being 4 a minute. So this race is going to fly by. Now just kind of getting scope of where we stand right now, with Latham leading this race by about 0.8 of a second now over Scherer. You can see they're on the stint tracker, 32 laps. So we thought 70. Now we saw Philip Henry stay out 70 laps. We never got his finite lap that he would have had to pick because of that caution that came out. But we're estimating. Actually, I'll stretch it as far as 80, Andre, because I'm thinking maybe 160. You never really see a full fuel run here, so maybe 80 laps would be good. So let's say they add 50. They're still pitting maybe around 180, and that's 70 to go. So theoretically, I think this could be a one-stop race.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, Timothy Latham is definitely hoping that it's a one-stop race, because if our counting is correct, he's got one more set behind the wall. And he says he has more to play with. I don't buy it. Not for a second.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a couple things that you've called out that I've missed. You know, just the nature of what I'm trying to do. I will miss some things, which is why I have you. But I've been pretty confident that I've seen that jack go up multiple times. So
yes.
I'm calling the Lady Gaga card there, but, you know, but we'll see. Maybe if we talk to him post-race, he'll give us the truth behind the matter. As a big wiggle there from Marty.
Yeah, again, that suspension unloaded. And that's something that if your setup is just a little bit off, what happens is you go through these corners, you got all that banking, and the car just slams down into the ground. You got all these G-forces compressing the right side of the car. You get about halfway down the straightaway, and the car lifts back up. The suspension kind of uncoils itself. And when that happens, that car wants to dart down to the inside wall. I've had that happen with RC cars. I've had that happen in real life. I mean, it's just, it's a problem at tracks like this where you're going so fast through the corners. And it's not a surprise that we've seen a few drivers get loose on the straightaways here tonight. Chad Kibbe obviously had major issues on the straightaway, leading to one of the cautions. Tanner Marty having a bit of a moment a couple laps ago, but I'm sure there's been more we just haven't seen on camera. Right here, Justin Levine has given up the 5th position, so falling outside of the top 5 for the first time, I think, all night, save for pitting sequences. Heath Snyder moves up into that P5 position. Here's another battle. 37 of Kevin Zosiak, and then he's got Kendall Leveron right behind him. And the lapped car of the number 10, Blair Holloman. These guys all running very similar lap times to 28, rocking that bottom lane. Zodiac, whose name I'm pretty much Pavloved into being afraid to say, because I think we're going to give him the commentator's curse. But as we say that, he goes way high, maybe going to be able to keep the position. Man, oh man, they're going back and forth. He was at the top last time. He goes to the bottom now.
Yeah, remember, he's fighting on those older tires, too, is Zodiac. 20-some-odd lap older tires. He stayed out as the leader on our last restart, and now he has gone to very nearly last place on the lead lap. Last person on the lead lap is the Shoe, who will not be on the lead lap for very much longer because that number 5 car right in the rear view. On the stopwatch here, we'll pull up the ticker. Latham and Shara basically mirroring each other, so that gap staying steady at right around 9/10 of a second. So while that is going on and not too much is going on the track, we're going to step aside for about a 1 minute or so breather here, go side by side, and be back for pit stop. So please stay with us. And we're back here as we were just about to go back green either way, well, with our coverage that is, and we have gone under caution. I'm trying to do some recon here as to figure out a reason why. I do see some heavy damage to Kendall Leveron. I don't have a literal a cue though, so oh, it was Leveron. So what do you know? Sometimes your suspicion is right.
Ooh. So he was racing really hard with Blair Holloman here. Coming out of the corner, just drifts up the track a little bit too much, and obviously he wasn't trying to pinch the 10, but came up into him. And, that was Ed Scherer getting into the outside wall.
Yeah.
He just missed him.
I don't think he missed him there.
Yeah, we'll see. Let's see.
Well, he missed him. He did not miss the wall. But
yeah, he didn't miss the wall, but he missed the 28, which is, I'm sure the 28 is pretty thankful for that, because that would have been quite the impact had that connected. But we'll see. We've had a few drivers bounce off the wall in the exact same way that the 14 just did, and they never seem to lose that much pace. So hopefully, Ed's car is all right.
So Latham pitted, and per everything that we have. Now let's. No, I don't think I've ever done a replay of this, Andre, but this I think is important to do a replay on, given what we've been discussing here. This is the pit stop that Latham just had.
Right side goes up. Now, if he takes left sides.
Yep.
So for all that we know, we have seen the jack stand go up on both sides of that car four times. They get 4 sets of tires behind the wall. He should be out. Now, I don't know. Maybe there's something with Bristol where, we saw a graphical error. He said that he's got multiple sets, something about going on the back straightaway, made a mistake. Maybe there's a graphical bug where when they park in the stall, it plays an animation. I don't know. That seems far-fetched to me. But
so what I think he meant, so of course we are using the single pit road configuration here at Bristol, so they pit on their own straightaway. They don't have to do the long way around. So he kind of goofed that, so he had no tires checked, but because he entered a physical pit road, it reset all of his settings. So when he actually went to do his pit stop, his original pit settings were erased and the default foreign fuel was set. So that was his first mistake. But everything else we believe was an intentional decision based on kind of what he said. And, you know, based on what we've seen it, he should be out. So if more goes up, I will save the replay of this race and I will dissect it myself because I am perplexed. But that is why we watch, and we watch to the very end. Now Scherer is getting inexplicably pushed by his teammate past the pace car here.
Luckily, the pace car does not have collision. Otherwise, we may have had an issue, but, you know, just teammates horsing around a little bit under caution. These drivers now, let's see, lap 160 to 250. That is, I would say, outside of the fuel window. I would assume that they'd have to come at least one more time. If not for just a splash of gas, it's going to be just a little bit too far, I think. Green flag in the air. Timothy Latham got a good restart there. But Scherer gets an even better restart. He is going to be alongside him through 3 and 4 to the quarter panel. And he's going to get a big run out using that high line. Let's see where he takes that run. Doesn't go to the bottom, doesn't do a crossover. Now he's going to take the same line as Latham. He's going to stay second place. It is the first time we've been able to see these two battle for the lead. By the time that Ed got to second last stint, their lap times had equalized.
Andre, look how spread out we are after 2 or 3 laps. So, I mean, we're not even, you know, we're 3/4 of a second. We're a second and a half. I mean, I don't know what's going on. Maybe are we in massive fuel saving to get an extra 10? Take a guess who's in the wall there.
Oh, boy. Blair Holloman is just...
Blair Wallerman.
Yeah, Blair Wallerman. Hopefully he bought that wall dinner first, because he is... Man, oh man. Oh, loose there.
I think that one's going to stick in the Discord, to be honest with you, Blair Wallerman. But
he's probably hoping it doesn't.
Yeah, I would hope not. As the man from Idaho going to the inside of the track versus the old guy here. I did check. There are 1.3 million people in Idaho, and all the other ones didn't do that. But we stay green.
Are we? Yep, okay, we're all right. 97 got a little bit loose there, but great heads-up driving by the 25 there. He saw that coming ahead of time, and he was able to check up just barely. You see everybody getting sideways in front of him to go on board.
Oh, yeah, a little right rear tap there, and then
just a kiss, and then he's able to keep going.
So back to live footage, and again, I did look up. I call him the man from Idaho. There are 1.3 million people that live in Idaho. I just don't know any of them. So he is. I will still stick with that as my adage there. As here comes Josh Campbell there, who hasn't gotten any more repairs done. His last stop 14.4. So I think he must be. You know, he realizes whatever damage he has, he's got to race through it, and he's doing just that. And probably has a top 5 car. Zodiac there in 6th. He is now back on even footing with the rest of the field in that 6th spot there. We'll see what he can do. Ty Ippolito, haven't really talked about him too much. He was in one of the opening cautions, but has recovered nicely.
Yeah, he didn't get any damage in that initial caution. He kind of overreacted what was going on in front of him, got the rear end swung around, spun down the banking, but didn't get into the wall, didn't get into any other drivers, so 19 car still clean as can be. So he is continuing to make laps here. He's got the 8 machine breathing down his neck for 5th place. And we got the number 9, the number 28. So both these drivers, at various points, been involved in incidents, but here they are. And the 9 car, Dakota Jorgensen, holding on to that position, playing a little bit of defense here. 28 not too far behind. He's looking around, trying to figure out where can I go. Do I go low? Do I go high? Well, right now, just have to ride. Ippolito, his mirror just got a little bit more full as the 37 is closing in on him for that 6th position. He is right there.
Good. Dive to the bottom of the track, get all that momentum. Just has nowhere to go with it. Also worth noting that Wise, Fuge, and Burnett are all retired from the event. We do have Saucier running out there 3 laps down, and 5 guys all 1 lap off the pace. 5 guys. Of course, that's National Cheeseburger Day. Hope everybody had their cheeseburger to celebrate. But yeah, that battle going on for 6th and 7th. Lead battle is separated by about 0.2 of a second. Latham back to Scherer, and then now Levine starting to attack and put a charge on Scherer there for 2nd.
Yeah, Levine was a little bit off pace in this 2nd stage, and I think he was probably just playing it a little bit conservative, trying to save those tires. He showed in stage 1 that he had speed, won that stage, so probably gaining a lot of confidence in that car. Track conditions haven't really changed. We started under the lights, we're going to end under the lights. So doing a little bit of conservation, as we talked about, would be very important. And now, with just a little bit of racing left here, he's decided to turn on the afterburners, try and close in. And he has gotten to the rear bumper of Ed Scherer. But again, it's going to be difficult to try and make a pass like that when it is kind of a 1-lane track at times. You can slingshot around him, throw a bit of a slide job maybe, but going to have to get aggressive.
Yeah, indeed the case. So he's going to have to use that top of the track, which, well, can't use that now because that's where Scherer went. But Scherer went there, and if anything, he may have just let him go. Maybe he thinks that Levine's going to burn his tires up and just going to let him go and get him back on the long haul. I do have a 2nd person from Idaho in our YouTube chat, Dakota Jorgensen's mother, Jody. I think mother. Could be sister, could be wife, don't know. But either way, there's 2 people from Idaho. We have that confirmed, that information. So I just want to thank for our YouTube chat there. But let's go back up to the front. Scherer gave up the spot to Levine, and he may be giving up the spot to his teammate as Johan closing in on him.
Yeah, Johan has closed that gap considerably. It's kind of weird. The 14 drove up to the leader, and then he's just been kind of falling back ever since. The number 1 got around him, and now that Levine has made that pass, he's just kind of stagnated back there in 3rd with not Dakota Jorgensen, but Johan Seminario trying to make the move now up onto the podium. As you can see on the top of the frame as well, after Levine got around that 14, he's actually closed the gap to Timothy Latham as well. That would be the battle for the lead. So everybody kind of coming together here, closing in as the long run sets in. The tire. I think he might have scraped the wall a little bit there.
You get to see out of the rear deck lid cam. Ain't nobody. The difference 4th back to 5th is pushing 3 seconds here, which is a full straightaway as we've kind of dictated earlier. But teammate battle there. I mean, they're so close to each other. I don't think bump drafting is going to be of any significance here, so it'll be interesting to see. Obviously, Scherer doesn't want to fall too far back, so I don't think he's going to want to just give up another spot as he just did to Levine. But at the same time, he still wants to preserve his stuff because we still have over 60 laps to go. And a question mark of a pit stop because right now we're 32 laps into the run and we have 63 laps left, so that's 95. We don't fathom any way that could be the case. But we also have to remember Philip Henry stayed out on 70 lap tires, 70 lap fuel load. He stayed out knowing there was a 100 lap stage. So for all we know, it could very well be plausible that these guys can run 100 laps. I don't think so, but you have to wonder.
Yeah, I'm not super familiar with the fuel mileage at Bristol, even with a 100% capacity tank. So then trying to guesstimate what they are with the reduced capacity is kind of neither here nor there. I guess we just have to wait and see. This battle for the lead has intensified. Justin Levine got up to the bumper, the number 5, and then he's just kind of stalled out. He's just riding on the bumper, trying to figure out how he can make this move. Look at the lap times, 15:064 and a 15:085. So, I mean, just splitting hairs here. I mean, 1,000ths of a second different between these two lap in and lap out. Again, Levine being in the dirty air, maybe slowing him down a little bit, but he gets a little bit closer this time. Now to the bottom, gets a bit of a better corner than that number 5 with some lap traffic ahead. This is putting Timothy in dirty air, and also if these guys stay side by side in front of them, this could be a big factor in this battle for the lead.
Just look at how close Bristol. This is 0.2 of a second under. That's 1/10.5, 2/10. He's basically right on his back bumper, and it's still only 1/10 of a second. This shows short tracks and you know, how tight and consolidated all the times are as they do get by. Latham gets loose there underneath Levron here. That's going to open the door for Levine to try to take advantage of the situation, and it's going to work exactly how he wants to. Let's see if Latham can do a full send and re-clear himself here. He didn't want to shut the door, and, well, I think Levine kind of cut him some slack.
Yeah, Levine definitely gave him a bit of a panic lift. I don't know if he's kicking himself for doing that now, but take a look at the PTRTV instant replay. That was a moment that deserves a second look. So that lap traffic did come into play here. You see the huge run for the number 1 with the 5 getting squirrely. And yeah, Levine cut him a big break there.
Now, what he should have done is just done a full-blown slider. But now Levine's going to try to work the bottom of the racetrack, which may work, may not work. They have a second in the bank over Scherer, so there's no immediate worry about what's going to happen from behind. But yeah, Latham, he was just very tentative in the move. Should I do it? Should I not? Should I do it? Should I not? And I think that tentativeness was what put Levine in that very awkward scenario. But luckily, the veteran knowledge in, you know, just working together, knowing each other for such a long time, they're not going to put each other in a situation where they're both going to wreck.
This is a really good battle. Levine is obviously faster. He's got the better car, but Timothy Latham, he is just the Iceman out here. He is unshakable. Every attempt that the number 1 has made, Timothy has just kept his cool, hit his marks, and just forced him back. Loose again out of the corner. But again, you know, Latham got there. He was door to door through the corner. The 5 just used that high line, pulled ahead just a bit. But, you know, it's just a never-ending game here, because as soon as the number 1 falls behind, he makes another lunge at it. Issues for Johan Seminario. He was 4th place, and now he's going a lap down. We just saw him bottom of the frame. So I'm not sure what happened to him, if he got loose and spun out, or maybe he came down pit road, not 100% sure, but
yeah, I don't know either.
Currently. Actually, no, there's some drivers who have pitted. Look at this. Johan Seminario, Ty Ippolito, Dakota Jorgensen. All those drivers were on the lead lap. Now they are not.
Let's check the stint graphic. Nope, he's still been out. So.
Oh, wow. So Johan going a lap down on pace, he must have had some sort of incident.
Yeah, let me take a risk here and go hunting very quickly. I don't want to waste too much time here. Oh, yep, there it is. I found it.
Let's see.
It just broke dead loose on him.
Yep, again, that suspension decompressing. Nosed into the inside wall. And
is that like a neck? Nope, yeah, he just broke loose himself. That wasn't like a reverse net code thing like I thought it was going to be. So,
but for the lead, live scenes here, again, the number 1 lunging down low, and again, Timothy just putting up that iron shield on the high side. He just cannot be attacked here. I mean, the number 1 giving it everything he's got. It's going to be a good shot at it. 5 goes a little bit higher than normal. That's going to cost him some time.
Johan, I think that was a toe link that just went wrong there.
Now the question is, can he get it down to pit road, or can he keep it on the track without having any further issues to bring out a caution? That car looks severely damaged. Now this may be it, finally, going into the corner side by side. Levine's going to be close enough to throw the slider and shut the door, and that is going to be it. New leader, Justin Levine, back to the top after winning stage 1. That was a pass, I don't know, 30 laps in the making.
Yeah, and the thing was that Latham, after the break that Levine cut him, he couldn't, I mean, I don't, just any kind of good ethics, racing moral there, you couldn't, as Seminario will come to the pits, he couldn't really put him in another precarious position because Levine cut him a slack already. He didn't have to do it twice, so I think Latham just kind of, you know, realized the situation and wasn't going to force it beyond where it should have been forced.
No, and I mean, you look at both these drivers as well, Justin Levine, Timothy Latham, they're not really drivers that I would classify as aggressive. They're fast, like really fast, but they tend not to use their cars as a weapon. And oh my goodness, Ty Ippolito is going to bring out another caution with under 40 to go. And
now we get to finally figure out if Latham was putting on a poker face or if we are just wrong. As Ippolito just up and lost it.
Was he
And
trying to get to pit road, I wonder? Because that's the first time we've seen anybody get loose in the middle of the corner. And it looked like he was slowing down.
I think he just got loose. It's hard to tell, but let's get back to live footage so we can catch these pit stops.
All right, if the jack stand goes up, heads up, Corey. I'm just taking the headset off. I'm cashing in my chips. I'm cracking open a Sterling and I'm going home.
Yep. Wait, So he doesn't even want fuel?
What?
So he doesn't even want fuel?
Or was that the wrong pit lane?
No, this is the backstretch, and I don't think, is there even anybody pitted on the backstretch? I don't think there is. I mean, with the fuel, actually, with the field size, no, there would be nobody on the backstretch. I think it's 22, I think, fit on the front. So,
wait.
What is he doing? So the red light is on, but it's just kind of a spectator glitch. It's always red, even when it's not supposed to be. So don't take that into account.
Is he out of fuel? He's out of fuel. He's limping.
I mean, it's only been 50 some odd laps.
Yeah, but I can't think of any other reason he's coming down pit road at 10 mile an hour. He takes a splash, no tires.
5 seconds.
Yeah, he ran that thing dry, and he did not take tires. So we were right. He was out of sets. And I believe, somehow or another, he ran that thing completely dry.
So I'm just going to throw up another, So Timothy Latham's race is over, effectively, and he will very likely struggle to remain on the lead lap, to be bluntly honest with you. He's going to be back in 7th now. Top 6 all had the tires that we were expecting them to have. And it's going to be Levine, Scherer, Zosiak, Campbell, and Snyder. Now, I think that Scherer can compete, but 35 laps is not a long run at Bristol. It is a long run at any other track, but at Bristol, 35 laps is kind of just at the edge of a short run turning into a long run. So if he has that long run speed, he's going to need to figure something out, and he's going to need to get it quick.
Yeah, well, we talk about it every week. This league has so much going on strategy-wise and with the pit sequences. And it's always really fun to watch. But sometimes it's really difficult to keep track of. And all I can say is, for once, Corey, we were right. He was out of tires.
Poker face, poker face. But we read through it, Tim. We read through it.
He gave us a big bluff, but, we actually watched the jack stands. We were vigilant. I'm sure Dave will be happy about that one. But
I forgot about that.
There goes the pace car down pit road, and the number 1 is going to get down to a 2-car length lead. Look at the 14. He got a really good 1 and 2. He's closing in a little bit through that set of turns. Josh Campbell in 3rd place. He's going to take that high line. And again, I don't think these guys need to be shy about using the top of the track because, well, who cares about burning up tires when you've only got a few minutes left of racing?
Yeah, less than 10, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, so I mean, at this point, you might as well, if you're not using the top. What are you doing? Oh, okay, don't use that top though. Don't use the wall, but Here
goes Philip Henry again, and it's still in his recovery effort from his first caution faux pas there. He gets around Zosiak, and Saucier is still 4 laps down. I think he was just kind of eating it for the fun at this point. Zosiak there in 5th. Now this is Henry trying to get that 3rd spot, get back on the podium here at the very least. So now don't write out that number 25 car. He can make something happen here. He hasn't been in this position since, or really before the first caution.
No, you're right. He had a lot of speed early in this race, and then he just got marred in a lot of incidents. Zosiak just barely saving it. But yeah, Philip Henry back out front after a long string of issues. Now side by side, Zosiak, Campbell. Campbell's got the outside, which should be a little bit quicker. Corey Saucier making sweet love to that outside wall continually up there. I don't know how he's not losing more momentum than he is, but there goes Josh Campbell. He is clear into 4th. Meanwhile, look at Corey Saucier here.
He's 4 laps down. He's just yeeting for the fun of it.
He's 4 laps down, but he is going full yeet. Don't ever count this man out because he is sending it. And again, I don't know how he's maintaining pace while hitting the wall. But he's kind of calmed down a little bit, it would seem. Now this is 1, 2, and 3. On board with 3rd place, Philip Henry. Look at this, bumper to bumper to bumper. 25 laps to go in this race. 14.729 to a 14.788.
Oh, here he's going to run.
Here he goes, down to the bottom. It's going to be a crossover. The 14 scraped the wall. That's a big help.
No.
See if he can get it. No.
Saucier, what's he going to do? Saucier is going to kind of interfere. I don't want to say interfere, but he's going to make this a little bit difficult. There's Tanner Marty there. Now Kendall Leveron. Part of the best ways to pass here at Bristol is lap traffic to your advantage here. Didn't really throw anybody off their game there, so we do kind of remain in that same formation, but it does not appear that Levine is the fastest car, and now we're pushing just over 20 laps to go. Let's just see if he can hang on. I don't know what win it would be. It's probably at least 4 or 5. I know Scherer has at least 1 or 2, but I know Philip Henry has to put it in victory lane, and he would love to do so.
Yeah, we haven't really seen Justin Levine with any short run speed tonight. It seems like his speed has all been on the long run, and now it was, going to be pretty much a 30, 40 lap dash to the end.
Oh God, here we go, splitting the lapper, 3 wide.
Oh my goodness. The 90 of Corey Saucier also making an evasive maneuver back there. But with all of that chaos and all the checking up, our leaders are still right with one another. 3 cars under a blanket. You cannot separate these guys. 14 under fire. The 25 applying some pressure. He's going to move to the high line. Let's see if he can get a good run here. The 14 running the same line as the number 1. And a huge slingshot out of the turn. The 25 is going to get down to the bottom, but it's not going to be enough, I don't think. Unless you have an advantage on the bottom going into the corner, it's really hard to throw that slider. And that's what we see out of the 25 here. There's Chad Kibbe. The shoe is going to be 3 wide again, maybe? Oh my goodness, all this lap traffic, all this chaos going on. This is playing right into Justin Levine's favor. He's doing a really good job working his way through the traffic. Meanwhile, these two battling side by side are having a harder time with the traffic.
Oh,
there's less places for the traffic.
How did he miss that wall? I have not in the slightest clue there.
I don't know.
But Scherer, the thing with Scherer is, he is a very intelligent racer, so he knows what Henry is trying to do when he's kind of driving against the slide job and the dive bomb. Which is really what Henry needs to do. He can get side by side, he can maintain it down the straightaway, but if the 14 drives deep into the next corner on the outside, he'll kind of offset the slide job opportunity, and that's exactly what he's doing. Saucier, I'm waiting for him just to kind of sit and play here, because obviously he has nothing to race for. I don't think he wants to interfere. He's just trying to have some fun. Just as I called it, Latham was going to struggle to stay on the lead lap, and well, he didn't. So win to Corey and Andre here. This is tight.
And that is going to put the 25 up into the second position. It caused the 14 to check up just enough that he was able to get that advantage. Now let's see if he can run down our leader. It's going to be about half a second, 4/10 between first and second. I think that 25 was faster than the 14. Just couldn't quite make the move, but we'll see if that was correct or not. See if the 14 is able to get back up to him or if he continues to fall behind. But actually, look at them lap times, 14.95, 14.94 to a 15. Now, that was a lap where he was held up, so the next time by will be a more accurate representation. Let's see what it is at the stripe for our 3 leaders. Justin Levine with a 15.0, Philip Henry with a 14.9, and Ed Scherer with a 15.1. So Philip Henry right now seems to be the fastest car on the track. He's closed in another 2/10 on our leader here. About 3/10 is going to be the difference, rocking a slightly higher line. 10 to go in the race. This is going to come down to the wire.
Yeah, it's going to be 10 perfect laps and then somehow making a pass, but is the goodness of the outside going to run out, or is the damage going to interfere with tire wear, all these different things? But as we saw, He used that lap traffic to his advantage to get by Scherer. That's the classic way to pass here at Bristol, is use the lappers as a pick, use them to benefit you here. And I don't know if there's going to be another opportunity like that comes about here, but it looks as though that outside's starting to lose its muster here. You're not getting those mega surge runs here. You can see Levine starting to pull on the bottom by almost a tenth and a half, and he's just not gaining it back on the top as we come down to 7 to go.
Yeah, right now the lap times are just about equal between the top and the bottom. I think the 25, if he's going to make the advantage, he's got to run the very high lane. You can see halfway through the corner, he comes down about halfway, running the middle of the track. If he wants to get a big run, he's got to commit to the top and run that wall all the way to corner exit, and that's going to be the only way to do anything. But unfortunately, it doesn't seem like the handling's there. He's not comfortable doing that, so he drives down the banking.
Levine had to back off a skosh there. I mean, it's not going to be enough, but it was something that went and helped out Henry, as he did try to go back to the bottom for a brief moment, but I just think that he may have had to overexert himself getting by Scherer there.
Yeah, and that's a good point. He definitely heated up those tires in that battle with Scherer, driving the wheels off that thing, and now, as we come down to the closing laps, it might not have much feel-good underneath of him with those Goodyear tires, and he is going to lose multiple tenths of a second in just one lap. He went from 3 tenths down to 8 tenths, so disaster lap with only 3 to go, and he's continuing to lose time. Levine taking off. This is his race to lose at this point. Now 1 second going to be the difference. As Tanner Marty gets into the second place, Philip Henry. Now remember, we are not to the white flag yet, so caution could come out until Levine takes that white, at which point the race will be official. I think Justin Levine has just gotten to the white flag.
He got meatballed. He got meatballed.
Oh my goodness, a great points night taken away just like that. White flag in the air, though, for Justin Levine, and through the final set of corners. Out of turn 4, it is going to be the number 1 car. He qualified on pole. He's going to finish in first. Justin Levine grabs another one here at Bristol.
Scherer, I don't know what happened to him, but he fell back 6 seconds there and just barely hangs on for second. Kevin Zosiak with a podium here. I think that absolves us of a commentator's curse. Campbell and Jorgensen will round out our top 5. So lost count at how many wins it is on the season, but yet another one here. There may still be some live cars on track. I can't quite tell as everybody is kind of congregating here and interrupting the victory celebrations here at Bristol.
Look at Zosiak, he put it in reverse.
So Levine having a ball here and slightly potentially damaging the other cars in the process, but while he does do that, let's go down track side and, well, blimp side or some side of which, and give you the final rundown of results here from the Bristol Motor Speedway. Justin Levine gets a win of now 7 seconds, just nearly there, over Ed Scherer, who barely held off Kevin Zosiak for 3rd. Josh Campbell with a 4th. Dakota Jorgensen with a 5th, so Idaho proving strong. Philip Henry had to pit off of what we presume was a meatball flag there, fell back to 6th. Latham, the tire, you couldn't lie to us. We figured it out. You ran out of tires. He fell back to 7th. Ippolito 8th. Tanner Marty 9th. And then Chad Guttingsman with a 10th.
Looking outside the top 10, Heath Snyder brings it home in 11th, 3 laps down. Corey Saucier, he was going full send back there, 4 laps down in 12th. Kendall Leveron had some speed early on, but had a lot of issues that brought him back to 13th. Chad Kibbe, the shoe is going to be P14. Johan Seminario, with a late race accident, is going to take him down pit road to 15th. Blair Holloman had some issues all night long, early on and later on, brings him home at 16th. Scott Wise, he got into the sand barrels and ultimately wound up 17th. Dave Fuge Jr. with an early exit, 18th. 19th goes to Mike Burnett and Brandon Browning. Same thing happened last week. Somehow, drivers who don't start wind up negative 3 laps. I don't know how that happens.
It's almost as if the pace laps are counting in the telemetry for some reason or another, but I will give you the honors here today, Andre. I always tend to take them, so I will give you the honors of heading down to Victory Circle and grabbing our race winner, Justin Levine.
Mr. Levine, you got a copy?
Yes, I do.
Well, Justin, I don't know if you can run a more perfect race than that. You won stage 1, you won the race, qualified on pole. What is it with Bristol, man? Is this just a track you seem to like?
This track is circled. Every single time this is on the schedule, I need to win this race. I one of my favorite short tracks, and you just got to let experience do the work. You got to be patient here, and the tires will come in. And that's exactly what happened tonight.
Yeah, you talk about the patience. We noticed early on in stage 2, after you got that stage win, it was like immediately you just put it into almost conservation mode. You were a few tenths off the leaders. You fell back to like 7th. And as soon as the long run kicked in, you got closer to the end. You just drove right back up to the front like it was nobody's business. And was that kind of part of the strategy there?
Yes, but not in the way that you're thinking of. I actually saved the set of tires just in case of a green-white checkered. So I knew, God forbid, that the race went the other way, I at least got stage points for the final round. And that was the main goal. And as that run continued, I started to gain a little bit speed there. And I was like, okay, we're going to be in a really good position here if we get green flag stops. And then the caution just fell our way. And then once I was able to get the lead from Tim there, I never looked back.
Indeed. Now, we've lost count up in the booth. How many wins is that, Justin?
I don't remember.
It's a lot. We'll say it's a lot. All right. Well, congratulations on the win, Justin. Is there any shout-outs you'd like to make?
Shout out to you. You did such a great job on the broadcast. I love going back and rewatching the race. Dave for putting this on for us, all the admins and the viewers.
All right. Well, we appreciate the kind words. We're going to let you go celebrate. Congratulations, Justin.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Race winner out of the booth, and he was planning ahead, Corey. You know, long run, short run to the end, didn't matter. He had the set of tires.
Yeah, that's why he is a top gun in this league, and now second place. Well, Ed, hello. It was an up and down race for you. It's at times it seemed like you were lightning quick, and then all of a sudden, I don't know what happened. You fell back 7 seconds there towards the end. Just kind of summarize the event. Sometimes you were up, sometimes you were down. And just where was that car tonight?
It was more the driver than the car. The car was amazing. I just need to figure out when to be patient and when to be aggressive. It's just, I think I got aggressive too soon on those last 2 runs that we had, and it killed my shot really at any contention, like for the win. I knew we were going to have a good 3rd place, maybe top 5 car. In that first run, it was just really, I was just concerned about how much I needed to save, so that's why I fell back so far. And I started catching those guys before we had that first caution. But other than that, car was on rails tonight. Appreciate Ryko Motorsports for the set. It's lightning fast. Appreciate everyone at Hyperforce for all they do. Everyone at Don Wheaton and all the sponsors that support us. But yeah, it was definitely a fast setup. I definitely got to give credit to where credit's due. Ken Byron, who's the leader at Ryko, builds really amazing equipment, and this thing was just on rails. I usually suck here at Bristol. I'm terrible, but this gave me a lot of confidence driving this badass machine. It was just on rails the whole night. It's just, I needed to just be a little bit better of a driver there in the end to be able to maybe contend for the win.
Was there anything strategy related tonight, man? I know the cautions came out at really, really awkward times, and I know Latham kind of got caught out on a driver mistake there, kind of running himself out of tires. But where did you stand from a strategy side tonight with the tires that you had an extra set on the wall? But again, the cautions came out at very awkward times tonight.
Yeah, so it was definitely weird. I was thinking around like 75 to 80 mark for the tires, because tires are really important here. I just feel like the better grip you have running the bottom is going to be the key, because it's as soon as you get going on the long run, that top is basically where you want to be for passing, but it just gets treacherous up there with how loose it can get. But other than that, it came down to the last, I think, second to last green, the second to last yellow flag. I was stuck with 2 sets left, and I decided to take my last set. And right there on that last run, I had no sets left, and I was just content with just trying to run it out. I knew it was going to be about like a 40-lap run, so I knew I didn't really have to conserve as much, but unfortunately, Kevin started catching me, and Henry also caught me, and unfortunately, he had that black flag and had a service pass through. But I just got to go back to the drawing board myself and figure out how to be a better driver towards the end of these things. I know how to get through on a short run. It's just, I don't know. I just lost it. I did that one first run, and I had really great tire wear, and then those last 2, I don't know what I did different, but I got to go back to the drawing board and figure it out. But just thank you to everybody that supports this league and everything, and Dave for running it, and you guys in the booth. I mean, it's been amazing this season, and looking forward to when we get to that All-Star break. Man, I need a break.
Yeah, well, actually, give you some good news. We got a week off next week, so we'll see you in 2 weeks' time at Chicago, first week of October.
Yeah, thank you, boys. Appreciate all the hard work you guys do.
Anytime, man. We'll catch you. And then now third place here on the evening, the commentator's curse, I believe is absolved because Andre is caught up with Kevin Zosiak.
Mr. Zosiak, you got a copy?
I copy. How you doing?
Well, Kevin, I got good news and I got good news. First good news, you finished on the podium. Great points day for you. Great run in that 37. And the other good news is it seems like the commentator's curse is absolved. We've gotten rid of it. We talked about you a lot tonight, and you didn't have any issues.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about that all night. I was like, man, I just got to finish a race clean and I'd be happy. But being third is an added bonus.
Yeah, you had a lot of pace in that 37, and all night long, it didn't matter where you looked in the field. There was just battles everywhere, side by side, bumper to bumper, and you yourself, you were in a lot of battles. What was the racing like out there with the competition? I mean, was it kind of hectic out there for you, or were you having fun?
I mean, I was having fun. I spent a lot of time on this Bristol set this week, and a lot of practice, a lot of laps. I did the 500 NIS on Wednesday, so I felt really good and comfortable in the car. So I felt if I could just stay out of trouble, I'd have a good night, and I guess I did. I felt bad for a little bit for Philip at the end there. He kind of got a raw deal, but a third is a third.
Yeah, a lot of drivers had a little bit of attrition tonight, but sometimes survival's the name of the game, and walked away with a great points day. Well, congratulations, Kevin, and hopefully we're talking to you again next race.
Yeah, thank you. See you next week.
Third place out of the booth, and that is going to do it for our post-race interviews. So that was quite the race, Corey. Again, this league it never disappoints with the strategy and the pit stops. You don't really think strategy when you think of Bristol, but man, there was so much going on, so much to pay attention to, and the racing itself was just phenomenal. When you got two drivers up front like Timothy Latham and Justin Levine and all these other guys that, pretty clean reputations, it was just good, hard battling all night long.
Yeah, SSRL comes through once again with another good show here. Again, top, bottom, multi-groove track strategies, and people getting thrown off, solid racing, and ultimately cream rises to the crop with Justin Levine putting another one in victory lane. So stay tuned. We'll be back on October 2nd. We'll be at the Chicagoland Speedway. Nice little retro race there for at a driver favorite and commentator favorite track. Stay tuned Thursday night. Red Sox Racing League will be here on the channel. A little bit of a shake-up here on the channel schedule, so stay tuned to social media. We'll get that posted, and of course visit us on PrimetimeRacingTV.com if you're looking for some more broadcasting. But that's Corey and Andre signing out of the booth. Have a great night, and we'll catch you next time.